Michael Shaughnessy was raised in Kansas City and moved to Portland, Maine 29 years ago. He is the husband of Mallory O. Shaughnessy. For 27 years, they together have raised 4 wonderful sons. Michael has been an artist for 30 years. He's had exhibitions and installations in museums, contemporary art centers, and universities across the country. These have included such places as the Museum of Contemporary Art, Chicago, the Renwick Gallery, Smithsonian, Kemper Museum of Contemporary Art, and the De Cordova Museum. He received the Jurors Award at the Portland Museum of Art's 2011 biennial. He's long been an environmental and political activist, and he's held elected office and has actively worked on numerous political and social change issues. And since 1987, he's taught drawing, design, and sculpture at the University of Southern Maine, and in 2001, he developed the first ever program nationally combining art and entrepreneurial studies. And that's a great thing because not too many kids get out of art school with a sense of how to make a living doing their art, and so that's a really important innovation. His grandfather and father were both architects, and his mother is an entrepreneur who started one of the first architectural salvage businesses in this country, in Kansas City. In second grade Catholic school in Kansas City, his teacher told his parents that Michael was very creative, but he's gonna need a secretary. That's for sure. That's for dang sure. That's how I imagine nuns speaking. That's for sure. His wife seemed to confirm to me that when I asked her if Michael had any eccentricities, and she stopped. And for the longest time, she said nothing, and then she said, basically, Michael is all eccentricities. He's always out of the box and all over the floor. And in 2012, Michael took a very large hairball. Hey! Oh, sorry. Hey ball! In 2012, Michael took a very large hay ball for a ride on a small car on a 10-week journey to meet America. He is currently writing about the experience and the people and places he met. Please give him some encouragement. Michael.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Before I ring this bell, I do have to offer a great deal of thanks to people that have supported me, particularly my wife, who let me go on this journey for 10 weeks, and without which I probably would still be stuck driving around LA, because we're constantly on the phone, her guiding me around. So. The hay ball is somewhere between performance art and comedy and slapstick, and it kind of accidentally got on my car one time when a truck didn't appear. I tend to think that it's kind of like a minor spectacle, or at times maybe an act of God. But really the major thing that it's about is simply the delight that one can take in throwing something on top of their car, driving around and making people laugh and wonder. And there really isn't enough wonder. It's like, how many times do we go out and come home thinking, I saw something, I have no idea what that was. The hay ball is really kind of a basic thing, and one of the things that it takes delight in is seeing everybody equally. So I decided, in kind of a bad pun, that I would make people into saints and angels. Halo. And so constantly doing that. Also, the hay ball is kind of like having your own national monument on top of your car. People like to get their photographs taken with it. Or maybe it's like a celebrity, one of those cutout posters of Barack Obama or Ed McMahon. So in the spirit of John Steinbeck, and 50 years later, I decided to take it across the country on top of my car. It's a lot better than having a dog there, and anyhow, had to do it. And it's a great way of meeting people. And really, that's the most important thing, is just meeting folks. This is in Harlem. It didn't get a lot of attention down in Chelsea, but in Harlem, Brooklyn, the Bronx. This woman came up and she was just all tickled and she goes, "Oh, my people." I made it to Kansas City, and there's an Irish festival there. I was supposed to have a tent. They said, "Yeah, come, we'll give you a tent." The tent broke down in the heavy rain, so they gave me half of a thatched cottage. They said, "There's a leprechaun in there, but don't mind him. He'll be leaving soon." This is my son. He's the one with the beard. I met him in Northern California. He met up with some friends, and they were going to hitchhike together. That's 5 of them. 5 backpacks, an accordion, a dog, and 3 guitars. I said, "How are you going?" He says, "Oh, together." I said, "Okay." A little while later, I ran into a guy in California, and he says, "Hey, you must be Tully's dad." I found that I had a lot of time to think on this, and one of the things that I contemplated was Portland, Maine, Portland, Oregon. That's kind of a goal. And I realized it all came down to how we deal with donuts. Holy donut, voodoo donut. Oh, this guy met me in a barbecue joint in Kansas City, Kansas, and he comes in all excited saying, "Is that your hay ball?" And I'm the only one there, so I couldn't avoid it. And then he comes out and he says, finds out that I'm an artist, and he says, "Oh, great. Can you come to my house? I got this stuff. I really need your help." Oh, and this was in Portland, Oregon. And somebody came up to me. She was looking for kale, literally looking for kale, and stopped me. And then she said, "Is that hay ball yours?" I said, "Yes, it is." And she said, "I have somebody that you ought to meet." And this woman is just absolutely wonderful. She grows these giant pumpkins and can't stop. When you're in the middle of nowhere, there's 2 ways of dealing with it. As they do in Montana, they just decide that distance doesn't matter. And in Kansas, they try to make nowhere into somewhere. Desperately. This is an old friend, and part of me going on this trip was kind of connecting to my past and past friends. She was fired as she's let off after 20 years as a press photographer, as lots of press photographers work. Now she's living in Idaho and deciding that she might take up wildlife photography. This guy was incredible. He came up to me in Garbersville. He said, "Can I get a picture with the hay ball?" I said, "Sure." And then I took it and I said, "Do you want me to send it to you?" He said, "No. I want you to send it to my mom. Tell her it's okay. I'm fine. I love you." Everybody had a story, and some people found angels and were healers, and other people chased demons. This is an old friend I worked with on the right, Willie. I saw him again. He said, "I saw that thing coming down." I said, "That has to be Shaughnessy." This is Southern California. Okay, I'm parked over, I'm washing up, and this police officer says, Mike, comes by and he looks at me and I say, "Am I in trouble?" He says, "No." And then he says, "I just want to get a picture taken with that thing." So I take it. Darth Vader wants $10. I'm broke. Okay, she about runs me over in an old Geo in Seligman, and she says, "Stop, but I have to go get my laundry first. Wait." So I pulled over, she gets her laundry, she comes back, and we start talking, and she tells me about how she's tried to live in other places, but Seligman, and you guys got to look up Seligman, was the only place that would keep her. This is a friend of mine that I also met kind of by accident, and she really loves where she lives, and it's an amazing place because every morning she has coffee while she watches the sunrise over the Lorraine Motel. This place is the Supreme Court, and I thought this is hilarious. This is an image of the Supreme Court in front of the Supreme Court. So it's like obviously there's things that need to be worked on in there, right? And then they tried to chase me out because they thought I had a bomb. I'm ending on this man, Pearl. And this is a picture of America in a sense. That this man moved into a neighborhood that they didn't want him in because he wouldn't keep up his lawn. Consequently, he has tour buses that come by to see his lawn. And let me just finish a little bit more on this man, that in a way, it's kind of emblematic of America. It takes care, it takes persistence, and it takes constant pruning. Thank you very much.